On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
We weren't intending to have the baby with you. Sometimes sex was just that. It was just sex. Right. So that's my take on it.
Well, I have a question for you, Rilla. So I understand the legacy part, completely agree with you. However, the wants, to be a father without a relationship or a commitment. So you're willing to have your legacy with just anyone just to have a legacy?
Why do some men want to be fathers but aren't willing to commit to the mother of the child? Read that again. Why do some men want to be fathers but aren't willing to commit to the mother of the child? Start with you, Kay. What are your thoughts about that?
I think there's like this innate desire for many people to pass along their genes, procreate, whatever. So if we're talking about people that want to be fathers, but not committing to the mother, I don't see why you wouldn't just find someone that you wanted to commit to so that your child could have both parents. So like if you already know, like, I want to be a father, if that is your goal, you should really do some work to make sure that you're having a child with someone that you want to raise the child with. So I don't know why you would do that. I guess a man would have to answer that. I don't know why you would just want a random like person to be the mother of your child. The only thing I can answer just as a woman who has no idea in terms of certain aspects of it is that it has to do with just that innate like biological urge to pass along your genes to offspring.
I don't think that's the case. I think the men want to be fathers, but I think the mother comes in between that. But we're gonna dive into it a little bit. Let me get some more opinions about this. Chicago Rilla.
Yeah, buddy.
You about to say something, Courtney? My bad.
I was, because the question is, why would some men want to be fathers? So how I took it, and I think this is how Kay is taking it too, is that, why does a man want to have kids but don't want to be in a relationship with a mother?
Right.
Not saying that she is, giving in between. That's something completely different. And the only thing that I can see is that is a hood mentality. It's a hood mentality. It's the Pookie and Ray Rays that think that them spreading their seed around makes them a man. I watched Ayanna Van Zandt, and she has men on there that has 20 kids with 18 baby mamas, and they're proud of it. So it's a hood mentality. It's the Pookie and Ray Rays that feel like that's what manhood is. They think that it's, having babies everywhere. Yeah, that's my kid over there. I got multiple kids here. Yeah, I'm so it's ignorance. So that's why I took, but understood what Kay was coming from with that is why would a man want to? And that's just the Pookie and Ray Rays.
Yeah, because I think that JR, kind of what you said, and Courtney just addressed it, was a completely different situation. That was like an after the fact type of thing. But I think we were looking at it more like you want to have children, but you don't want to commit to the mother. So you want to basically be a single dad. Like, I don't know. It just seemed, I don't know, maybe the question is not quite clear, but that's how I took it too, the same way as Courtney.
Chicago Real, let me say you took it. Why do some men want to be fathers but aren't willing to commit to the mother?
Let's see. Hopefully I understand it. And I understand what the ladies are saying with regards to this, but men want legacy. We definitely want our seeds. However, men don't always have sex to procreate. Even though we understand at the end of sex, there is like procreation. Sometimes for men, it's recreation. It is what it is. And if we know and understand, well, not even believe, but if we know and understand that, women control the access to sex. We also know my body, my choice. I mean, sometimes men are put in positions where, we want to be fathers, but not with you. And men have no choice. around whether children are brought into this world other than by the mere act of having sex. After that, we have no choice. We have no choice. Once the seed is planted, we have no choice. When that baby is brought into the world, we have no choice. Sometimes we don't even have choice whether we sign the birth certificate. We don't have choice. I think Anton was talking about family court. I mean, men want, because I took the question two different ways. I mean, two-part. I broke it down into two parts is how I understood it. We want to spread our seed. We want legacy. And I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent, because I do believe that as men, we got to do better and choose better, right? However, with that said, it's not it's not that you know, a lot of times we aren't willing to commit to the mother of the child. I mean, and when I say that, I mean that we weren't intending to have the baby with you. Sometimes sex was just that. It was just sex. Right. So that's my take on it.
Well, I have a question for you, Rilla. So I understand the legacy part, completely agree with you. However, the wants, you know, to be a father without a relationship or a commitment. So you're willing to have your legacy with just anyone just to have a legacy?
No. That's what I was saying. Sometimes, like when you're having sex, you're having sex, right? Mm-hmm. And so, things happen sometimes. I mean, sometimes you're with a lovely lady, and I know this is an extreme what I'm about to say, but sometimes you.
No. Wait. Address her correctly. A bust down, not a lovely lady. Sometimes you with a butt. Sometimes you with a bust down. All right, go ahead. Do your thing. We're gonna call them what they are. We're not gonna.
I hear you. I'll let you address that way. But real spill. You know, sometimes for us it's recreation. It's not that the intention is to go in. When you have those hookup moments, it's not that I'm intending to go in and create a whole life and a whole family with you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it happens. It is what it is, right? And that's why I say, men, we do have to choose better. You know what I'm saying? The way I'm raising my sons, listen, you're valuable, right? Don't go popping off in everything, right? But when that happens, it's not that I'm trying to create a whole nother life, a whole nother family with you. And again, some men are caught in that position where they don't know that they are a dad till the baby is here or 2 years down the road. Next thing you know, you in child support court. You know what I'm saying?
How is that possible though? How can you not know? Like every time that you rocking out and you're not strapped up, that's like playing Russian roulette, let alone the baby aspect of it. Like I don't understand. I've never made a mistake in my entire life. I've never made a mistake. Listen, bro. Go ahead.
I'm about to say Anton is an anomaly. He's been disciplined.
How's that an anomaly that I don't feel like having? I don't want to take a risk of catching something. Like I don't want to get a disease, so I'm gonna strap up.
Man,
like that is not an anomaly, bro.
Like it's a lot of men that just go in, but I'm not gonna blame the men. It's also the women. But the women don't question it. I'm gonna tell you this, Anton. There's a lot of women that don't question it at all. They don't ask for it. They just take.
I agree.
They just take their dick.
I agree, but the problem with
then the conversations happen right after. You be laying right there in the bed and be like, so.
But JR, the problem with this whole conversation though is that because we hold women accountable, at some point, and this is the conversation about men, I am not putting my faith and my trust in a woman. I don't even trust this chick to throw her five seconds down the street. And so the thing that comes back to me is, listen, let me tell you something, bro. I'm so cautious. I'm so head on the swivel. I don't even trust a chick if I'm taking her home. Like back in the day when I was taking a chick home, my thing was, she could be setting me up. I need to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Like I was making chicks sign NDAs back in the day, bro. Real talk. like, man, I did not play no games. I'm not.
What'd you say, Rilla?
I asked Anton, who taught you that?
I taught myself. Like I ain't need nobody to teach me to to strap up. Like it was plenty of commercials on TV. Like
and what I'm saying is,
that's what.
Go ahead.
With what Anton was saying, like absolutely. I mean, of course, as a woman, you should be 100% on top of it. I have the same I guess experience as Anton in terms of that. There's been no mistakes, no nothing, because I'm very proactive. Like I don't want to have to make any decisions or live with something that, wasn't planned out in a way that I wanted it to be. And I don't even think, I mean, of course my parents talked to me about these things, but so I'm not saying that they didn't, but like Anton was saying, there's like commercials, there's reading material, there's
I don't think
internet.
nobody paying attention to them damn commercials. I mean, hey,
listen, bro, listen. And what was that? 1992. That Magic Johnson came out with AIDS or HIV. I was scared to death. Like, oh my God, I can never get HIV.
Can I point out respectfully a correlation between you and Kay? Because I asked you who taught you this. Right? Who taught you to behave this way? Who taught you to maneuver? And the common single thread.
Putting on a rubber?
That's how you carry yourself, your mindset, how you move, how you think, how disciplined you've been. Right? Who taught you that? And both of you guys will say, I come from a 2-parent household.
Yeah, that's true, brother. And I'm not taking that away from the conversation, right? But the point is that my dad never said, Anton, make sure you strap up. Like I knew to strap up. Like it wasn't, my brothers knew to strap up, bro. Listen, let me tell you how intentional I was. This is real talk, real spit, no cap, bro. Like, and my chick was on my live stream, so she'll tell you about all of the chicks that was around me. 100% of the time, I had a different chick every single day, bro. It was not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. It was not a thing. When I say the numbers was Wilt Chamberlain, it wasn't a thing. Like my whole life is an open book. Real talk. But like even when I had my daughter, it was intentional. Right after I had my daughter shortly, me and my chick had a conversation, and I'm like, and she was like, you know what, you might as well get a vasectomy. Like we don't even want to take the risk or none of that. So I went and got a vasectomy. If a chick show up talking about, come on, man, like everything is intentional. We not about to make no mistakes when it comes to a whole life, person coming into the world, bro.
Wait. This is what I'm trying to get to, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not excusing, bro, because I myself was caught up in that reckless mindset. What I'm trying to tap into and what I'm trying to get you to share is, how did you get there? You didn't just wake up at 15 and say, you know what, I'm gonna be married at 22, and from 15 to 22, I'm slaying 100 chicks, and I'm not making no mistakes.
I lost my virginity at 11, and she was 18, bro. I was busting them down since day one. Real talk.
Oh, really?
I'm you know what I might do? I might bring my mom. I'm gonna bring my mom on my next live stream on Monday, and she gonna tell you what my life really was like. I stressed my mom out. It was a different chick that was knocking on the door every single day, bro.
18 and 11. Did you report her did you tell somebody so she can be held accountable by the law?
Nah, I was built like a grown man back then in every way. She loved it. She loved it. Kay, straighten that head up a little bit.
I mean, that's literally like rape. So I don't find it amusing. But
that's in hindsight. But listen, it was different because, and that's another thing that I don't understand. Like these young dudes that be telling on they teachers that they be busting down and junk like that. Like that was I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying is that like that was an accomplishment for us back in the day. Like you didn't tell on that. You lived in the moment, you relished it, and you continue to capitalize off of it. But the whole point that I'm making is that from a very early young age, there was never any doubt in my mind that I was not about to bring a whole human into this world unless it was intentional.
Yeah, Anton, same way, because I believe that women should have rights to choose whatever, but I personally would never get an abortion, never. So like knowing that I don't have a choice, I had to be very proactive about not getting in that jam, because I will not have an abortion. So you know what I'm saying? Like there's no option.
I want to ask Anton and Kate something. So you guys always strapped up. You never hit it raw.
You said what now? You asking me a question?
I'm asking both of y'all. Like you guys,
no,
I understand you didn't have a child.
I was not busting nothing down raw.
So it luck?
The first time I bust anything down raw was my wife.
Okay, Court.
That's real talk.
Don't be
Okay. I want you to be honest. An honest moment right now.
No, what if my dad is watching?
Hey, this show is unscripted. It's real right now. Raw sex. Now, did you just get lucky, or was the guy strapping up every time?
I'm very, very intentional. Very, very proactive, and very intentional to not have any of those situations, because I've seen so many lives that have been just completely changed by a child who a woman has, that they're not with the dad. Like it just becomes a whole thing. And my grandma told me, like,
so you don't know how raw dick feel at all.
My dad might be watching.
You said you get condom every time, though, right?
Huh?
JR putting her on the spot. Hey, she said, huh?
Are you a virgin? I'm looking in the comments. Are you a virgin?
Oh, JR putting the pressure on
my
her.
Dad
Let me.
Okay.
You wild, JR.
No, well, hey.
It's all good though. It's all good.
Hey, JR, I'm sorry.
But Chicago Gorilla did have a good point though, because I don't feel like everybody was taught that. So it is interesting to hear you guys speak on it, because maybe people might be in a position where they're gonna have a kid. And so if you guys can shed some light on how you guys were able to be disciplined. And
we might have to have a whole show about sex in general, bro. That's an entire topic, because I can get explicit. I can talk that talk. I don't mind having
this what I keep going back to. It's the why. Like when I think about being from the crib, right? No, I'm saying like the why. Like how did your mindset get there? Because the era, my uncle, right? My uncle was like, bust them, get them as many as you can, and get some for me, because they wasn't built like that when I was growing up.
So let me ask you a question, Chicago. Honestly, you never took the sex ed class in high school, and they showed you all the diseases and what it looked like. That scared me to death, bro.
I seen that class middle school, and I was just like,
that scared me to death.
Listen, 1000%, and didn't stop nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
How didn't it? That didn't scare you?
And listen. And the reason why I keep pressing in on this, because I think about, this straight Chicago, the Taylors, the Ickies, the low end. I think about Cabrini Green, the mentality that was in there in the projects. And you could take that city to city. I
was raised in the hood too.
I get it.
I was raised in Detroit.
But my point is, so you
still didn't want no kid.
Hold on, okay, we're coming to you next. Go ahead.
I get what you're saying, Chicago, because you're saying that there's a difference between children who are raised in two-parent households versus single-parent households. And Anton, you're saying no one, it maybe not explicitly told you, don't do this or don't do that. But
even my homeboys, we was like, dog, even you watching Menace to Society, he like, I've had this Jimmy on extra tight. Like movies, commercials, life was just like, don't do it.
I don't think it's a single parent.
Let us finish saying. Go ahead, Kay. Finish saying what you were saying.
So I think that there's that structure that's there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be explicit directions like, hey, Anton, don't go out and do this. But when you have two parents in the house and you just see certain things, it just changes the way you think about things. Like, because Chicago's right. There are some people who don't even think about getting tested for STDs. Like there's people who don't even think about catching them. There's people who that's not even a thought on their mind. Whereas like you and me, just in terms of discernment, in terms of our actions, and I'm not saying that you can't have the same level of discernment with a single parent, But when there are two people, working towards one goal, it's usually going to get more done than one person is. So I think that Chicago is kind of referring to that infrastructure, if you will, of the family that's there that supports your decision making, your, critical thinking and all of these types of things. And then you're just like, simple. I saw the poster at school and I said, I'm not doing that. But a lot of people don't think like that, though.
Well, I didn't want my cock to fall off. Like, I didn't want no big old cauliflower around my junk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I know dudes today, like, them pictures scared the life out of me, bro. I know dudes today, right now, that don't have kids and was like, you know what? I just couldn't do it, bro. I didn't want to put myself in that position. I seen my dad, or not my dad, my uncle, paying child support and what he went through with his baby. The reason why I never sold dope and as a kid at all at any point in my life is because I was seeing dudes I seen the Ray van in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go to jail. I never wanted to go to jail. Like, it wasn't that hard for me. I don't understand why. When you see people, right? When you see people have these conversations and people be like, I don't understand why. And this ain't got nothing to do with nobody saying it on the panel or nothing, but just in general, I don't see how Anton was never able to. What are you talking about? Like,
never able to
in the same, and like never. I don't see why Anton, how he was never able to slip up. Guess what? Like, that's like I was never able to slip up robbing somebody. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some basic human principles that I was just like, nah, that's going too far right there. I'm not jumping over that line. That don't even make sense to me, bro.
But it's education. It's biology. So I hear you, Rilla, talking about, a 2-parent household and a 1-parent household, which is always going to be beneficial to be in 2. But when it comes to sex, when it comes to having a child, I mean, that's just education and biology. So I don't see how it's necessarily because you're raised in a 1-parent household, you're more susceptible.
I don't think that has anything to do with.
Well, he kept bringing it up, which for me, I mean, it's just biology. You know,
it could.
Well,
it could be
bringing it up because there was a common thread between what Kay and Anton was saying. I wasn't saying that kids in 2-parent households are not having babies. And there was a common thread, and what I was really trying to get to was their mindset. So as a person that came from I was raised by the village, but technically I had a 1-parent household. My mind was different. And the people that I knew that ran, that came from 1-parent house, their mindset was similar to mine. But even when I think about Anton, he reminds me of one of my guys who, again, well, 2 of them, they came from 2-parent household and they had the same discipline, but they pops was on them. So what I was trying to dig deep into was to get Anton to share with some of the brothers that may be watching what got you there. So, and I think he
fear of messing up the bag.
Was I saying
Anton, and
fear of having to take care of a kid and mess up the bag, and like, come on, man. Like, I had my whole life ahead of me. I had like a little journal where I was like, yo, okay, at this age, I'm gonna have this car, I'm gonna have this much money in the bank, I'm gonna have this. Like, I had it all mapped out, and anything that got in the way of that from a very early age, it didn't.
This is what I'm trying to get you to understand, bro. And I hear you.
We're coming to UK after Chicago, really.
I promise I'll be quiet after this. I understand what you're saying, and that's why I keep harping on this. That era, you talk about menace to society. You know what that whole era was? You go from colors to Boys in the Hood to menace to society. We was glad to see 18. We was glad to see 21. By the time you hit 25, if you lived to see 25, if you survived the streets and made it to 25, you was an OG. So guess what it was? Live fast, die young.
Well, guess what? I still didn't want no cauliflower on my cock. So even if I only got to 25, I was gonna get there without herpes. I was gonna get there, bro.
All right, go ahead, Kay. What were you gonna say?
Furious Styles did say, remember when Trey tried to tell him like she was on the pill and he was like, so you still got to use condoms. But I have 4 brothers. I'm the only girl. And one of my brothers is like really young. So we're not going to count him in terms of the accidental pregnancies thing. But my other 3 brothers, none of them have any accidental pregnancies either. like no abortions, no nothing, like, you know. So I definitely think there is a correlation to certain types of, I guess, parenting or whatever that translates into certain decisions you end up making in your life. So I get what you're saying, Chicago. But Anton, I am 100% like, once I see these posters, I'm like, well, plus the fact that I would never have an abortion, like, and there would be no option for me as a woman if I were to get accidentally pregnant, quote unquote, because how do you get accidentally pregnant? But I don't know. So yeah, it's there just needs to be more education around it, because like Courtney was saying, it's definitely a biological urge and all these things. But in terms of us just kind of like having children out of wedlock, all these broken homes and things like that, like we really have to do better as a community in order for us to build strong communities and move forward in a more productive, I guess I could say, type of way.
All right, you guys, I want to kind of tie this back into why I posed this question. And for the women that's listening out there, I want you to listen real good. The question was, why do some men want to be fathers but aren't willing to commit to the mother of the child? There are a lot of men that want to be fathers, but there are a lot of women that are not allowing these men to be fathers. You don't have to be with that person in order to be a father, but we often see in this world where women, if they can't be with that man, they will hold that grudge, and he's not able to get the opportunity to be a father. I think that's a very important point to highlight, that boys and girls need their fathers, and they may not be, who cares? It is some care as far as finances, but if he can't provide, and or if he's not willing to provide, so what in that moment? Still continue to allow that man to be a father. I'm not saying that it's right, but you don't want the child to grow up and miss out on everything. There are some men now that are saying, you know what? I'm just going to wait till the child get older and then try to build a relationship. There are so many years that are passing by that child is without their father, due to the circumstances of the man and the woman not being able to get along, or the woman can't have that man, so she used the child against him. Again, that question is, there are plenty of men that want to be fathers, but they can't be because of that mother. Let that man see his child, whether it's a boy or a girl. Boys definitely need their fathers, but allow him to be able to father. See if you can be bigger and better, and try to reach out to him to see, okay, let's just father. Who cares about the finances? Let's talk about that later. Let's just have a starting point and build. Who knows? He may come closer to that child and then be able to start supporting that child. The main thing is him being a father to that child, and everything else will fall in line, hopefully. But if it doesn't, so what? At least that child has a father and they are not fatherless.